focus.
Yay. Welcome to the Knowledge Drop. Yo, this is Focus from the Flowmo crew, BeatBoyDojo.com and Cypher Studio, Helsinki representing. Hope everybody's doing good on this beautiful Sunday evening or morning or wherever you at. Okay, the Knowledge Drop, the podcast for breakers worldwide. And today we have a great guest all the way from the US of A, bigger Logistx. First time I saw her was a long time ago, a decade ago already in San Diego. We was out there doing some battles, and even though it was a long time ago, everybody was already talking about like there's this one up and coming, super hungry and super talented big girl slash dancer that's gonna take over the world, and that happened. So, um, a Red Bull BC1 champion and a champion of so many different battles and a great human being as well. Welcome to the show, Bigger Logistx. Hey, how's it going
Hello.
your ways?
What's up? Good. Thank you for having me on.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. How is the morning starting in Miami right now?
It's good. Hopefully it starts warming up because it's been cold. Not cold in comparison to where you live, but yeah, it's good. I just started slow. Probably gonna recover today, but I feel really a lot of pain in my back. So trying to work on that.
Okay, is it like healthy pain out of a lot of training or unhealthy pain
Yeah.
of too much?
No, it's fine. It's like it's healthy pain, but I need to do something about it type of pain because it's like the whole
Good.
yeah.
A rest day doesn't hurt every now and then, yes. So good day to take a time off. Time off today. Shout out to Why Not tuning in. I want to start with reading first of all. What are you currently reading? I saw on your Instagram. It's a funny thing that one of the crewmates of mine, older crewmate of mine, Yanni, he recommended me a bunch of books, and one of them was the Four Agreements. And then I'm on
Mm,
Instagram one day, and I go to your page too, and I'm like, oh, okay, the Four Agreements. I never heard about it before, but you're recommending it for everybody out there. So I wanted to check up
yeah.
on you. What are you reading currently? What's in the menu right
Well,
now?
yeah. So I just actually got gifted this book by Rick Rubin. I think it's called The Creative Act. And I've skimmed through it. But for me, I think what's just as important as consuming information is integrating it and applying it. Because for me, I'm a big believer in processing information in order for it to properly be absorbed and integrated into like my life. And taking it with a grain of salt, not feeling the need to take every single information, but using what works for me. And then like questioning it, challenging it. So I just have the Four Agreements like on my wall. I have a lot of affirmations on my wall everywhere. Um, and yeah, I put reading into that category of like spiritual maintenance, mental health practices. And so I'm doing a lot of breathing and meditation right now. But in that time, I read the Four Agreements and now I'm just applying it because it's not easy to apply those Four Agreements. Oh, did I cut out? Or am I still here?
No, still here. Beautiful. I'm
Okay.
actually reading Rick Rubin's book as well that I also got as a gift. So I'm wondering if it's from the same
Wow.
person or somebody else. That's crazy. Goosebumps right there. B-Boy Wilson and his dad Eli, they gave me the book. So I'm wondering if they gave it to you
Oh,
as well, or was it somebody else?
no,
Somebody else.
someone else.
That's
But
a great
still, it's
coincidence if you believe in coincidences. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. And I love the book because it's one of those things that you don't have to read through right away. You can uh, read a couple of segments, take a break, and continue from where you left and still be inspired. So, not a
yeah,
straight storyline like that. Creativity is universal. So, even if it comes from a producer's standpoint, everything that he's speaking applies to our art and dance as well. Any key takeaways from that one for you this far?
from the Rick Rubin or Four Agreements.
Both, because I haven't read the Four Agreements yet.
I think for me, I love how the four agreements. One of the biggest takeaways was just the idea of everyone living in their own dream, and how everyone. Also a believer in everyone. Just everyone kind of has their own reality and projects different things onto the different experiences and people and things in their life, and so the four agreements really reminded me. Um, yeah, if I don't want to fall into their dream, if I don't want to fall into their projection, I don't have to. And I would say that's one of the biggest takeaway for me is, and you know this because we're in breaking and there's just so many people, and the energy can be aggressive sometimes. We can have, you know, assumptions or projections from other people, especially battling at a high level. It's like people do can make assumptions like, oh yeah, like she's definitely doing this for training, and like this is probably what she's doing right now, but they don't know what I'm doing right now. They don't know how I'm taking care of myself or whatever. We don't know what's going on. So yeah, I think one of my biggest takeaways was the idea of everyone living in their own dream, and you don't have to like submit to that person's dream or that person's reality. We can create our own.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, that's next up on my menu right now. I just finished the Tupac's autobiography and moved on to
Mm,
another book called Kybalion. So, reading some Egyptian philosophy and wisdom
mm,
from way back in the days. So, the Four
oh,
Agreements is next on
nice.
it. You said you do a lot of meditation and yoga for healing and such. Can you tell a little bit more about this? How do you take care of your uh, mental health and well-being besides just training the physical side as an athlete?
Yeah, so I believe in holistic health, mind, body, and spirit connection, more natural medicines instead of just the pharmaceuticals. My mom actually has lupus, and she used to be on so many different medications, and she just stopped them, and she got into more holistic health, taking care of her body. With that disease, it makes your lymphatic system really clogged. So she was teaching me like these little lymphatic massages, and also just the idea of like your mind and how your mind can controlling your mind and what you put into your mind can affect how your body feels. Well, like if I'm thinking I'm tired, oh my gosh, I want to give up, blah, 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 then my body's going to start to feel like this. My body will actually feel strong if I start to put more of the weak minded thoughts in my brain. But if I'm feeding myself more positive thoughts and joy, about love, about abundance, all these things, and or if I'm really tight or tense, or I feel like I'm starting to get sick, I feel like a good way to like reverse that is just like, no, I'm healthy, I'm strong, and obviously still taking the supplements or the things I need for my body to heal. But I'm a really big believer in like that connection. And with meditation, it just allows me to center. I feel like a lot of people in society don't know how to just like be and like be still. We have a system that drives this workaholic rat race type of energy and mentality. So I try to disconnect that as much as possible because then it helps me find my flow when I go back into it because I've accepted living in the system. I am a full time professional athlete artist. So I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna run with this, I need to take care of myself because I want to give it my all. But I can only give it my all if I give myself my all. And to do that, for me, I have to connect to something higher and make sure I'm just healthy and centered. And so meditation just brings me back to that. And also the concept of breath. I even tattooed it right here, breathe, because I think breathing is so overlooked. And it's the first thing we do when we come into this life and the last thing we do when we before we die. So I'm like, yeah, let me work on this. Let me make her remember how to do this and have there's different techniques and I'm sure you know about them, but um yeah, that's kind of like just
A brief intro into holistic well-being. That's quick. Yeah, it's interesting. I would say I got into mindfulness meditation a long time ago too, via like using some guided meditations, and remember doing 600 sessions in an app called Calm before
mm,
moving on to more like taking more yoga instructions and such. And there's so
nice.
much we can do to improve our well-being in different ways too. So like you said, maybe pharmacy is not the first door that you open up if you feel something is not right.
Yeah.
And one very, very special thing or important thing, of course, is gratitude and trying to shift your perspective into a more positive and grateful one. I guess we're in the same
Mm.
path with this one, right?
Yeah.
So gratitude
I
journal every single night before I go to bed,
Mm,
just to stay in the right mindset.
nice.
How does that mindset correlate with a high performance competition breaker?
Mm.
Is there a contrast, or is that a battle of itself as well?
It's definitely a battle, because with competition itself, the idea of competition is this person's better than me because they have placed higher than me or ranked higher than me, or this person's better than me because they got voted for in this battle. And I have a lot of respect for everyone's opinions and viewpoints, because I know also art is subjective, but also we've moved into a realm of competition as breakers. So for me, I think the gratitude and the disconnect reminds me that it doesn't make me less worthy as a being. It doesn't make me less worthy as a human, just a being that's existing in this world. Like my life, just because they beat me in this battle doesn't mean their life is worth more than mine. Because they have these sponsors, like for anyone, not just like me, but I'm speaking more like generally, as a collective with the scene. It's like I wish people wouldn't degrade themselves, just because they appear or they think that they have less than this person in the breaking scene, because of whether that's a sponsorship, whether that's numbers or popularity or even moves or whatever it is, because I don't believe in all of that. I just see someone for who they are as a human, and how their heart is, where their heart is, where their mind is. And so it just pulls me out of that reality. But um, yeah, I feel like when you play the game, you got to play the game, and that's totally okay. And for those that are strong enough to play the game without attaching themselves to that part of their ego, then cool. But I know there's still, I think it's normal for people to get stuck in like making that their thing where it affects their self value and worth, and I just want to encourage people to like continue to practice detaching from that, because I mean it's on the other side too. People start winning, their ego be hyped up, and then that maybe that fulfills their sense of self worth. And I've experienced different parts of this journey, but I'm like tired of it, and I'm just like, I love the dance. I love the dance. I don't really care about like how people see me in the winning standpoint anymore. I just want to do the best that I know I can do, because no one else can tell me like what my best is except for me. And obviously, I have people, and I learn and listen, and but when it comes to more of like the self-worth stuff, that's where gratitude comes in, because it's also like, maybe I lost this battle today, but I still have a roof over my head, still food. I have a flight to go back home. Like I even have that. I can breathe. I have my limbs. Like we're good here, So that's like another. It helps a lot.
Yeah, and I like that perspective. Okay, this is a game that we all play, but then again, it's not life in that way. So there's a separation of you as an artist, and of course, there's this competition game that we all play when we battle, but still, there can be a separation between the two. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Like, it doesn't have to be the only game that you play.
Yeah.
Hmm. How about last time we met up in LA? We spoke a lot about history as well, studying the history and trying to educate yourself over there as well. I feel myself as a younger generation breaker as well. I always go to the older generation to learn more, and I realize that I don't know too much. There's always more that I can learn from people who've been there before me. How do you see yourself developing yourself as a breaker, as on the history side, like how important it is and what have you done this far in order to make your understanding better?
Yeah, for me, I wouldn't have been able to fall back in love with breaking if I didn't go back to see what happened before me, and before my teachers and before them. So, man, it's been a lot of research. It's been a lot of research. It's been really good, really inspiring. I recently started training with Lego. This was more within the past 2 months, and he put me on Sprott. And then, obviously, that brought me to watch more Storm, especially to get inspired by Power. Um, I also want to shout out Polsky and Lean Rock. They put me on a lot of history, lineage. Damn, it's been a lot. KML. Um, it's been so. I can't even. I'm trying to think of names that I've been watching. Migas, Shamgod, New York City Breakers, going back. Swift Rock has been a big one for me, like studying. Um, I see the Florida flavor. Like with moving here, that was another spark for me where I felt really inspired because I was able to learn. Like I felt this energy here, and I didn't know what it was. Like I'm around like Zeku, Nels, Lynx, Doug at the time, and they started putting me on like Flipside Kings, and like I didn't even know Stripes was from here, and like I knew Vic was from here, and then I'm learning about seeing Beta and her brothers, and I'm like and Lego, and I'm just like, yo, like there's such a rich history here, and I want to share that here because I think for me, it does help me feel proud to live here, but most of all, just grateful to live here because um, me moving also wasn't planned or anything, but I just so happened to move to a state that is so extremely inspiring in terms of the breaking history and lineage. But honestly, like I just want to like shout out like all the OGs that have helped create this dance. Obviously, B girls and B boys, because I feel like there's not enough encouragement to study. I don't know why. I mean, I would assume maybe an ego or just like assumptions from my generation of how this dance should evolve. But for me, I wouldn't have been able to fall back in love with it if I didn't go back. So that's where I'm just grateful to have been humbled so many times. And, I've always been just student minded and always wanting to learn. So I'm just like in those times where I wouldn't feel inspired, watching the past, that's one of the only things that can help me feel inspired because I'm like, it just looks like they're creating from another realm. And obviously they are creating from in another time, but yeah, there's a lot of beauty in the archives.
So much history in Florida. Florida inspired the world, and different generations did too. You mentioned a lot of b-boys, but not too many b-girls. I heard Beta, but not too many others. What about your
Yeah,
b-girl
it's very,
inspirations? If you go back,
oh,
who have inspired you and who still does?
I would say Rockefeller, Asia One, Jess Skills, Baby Girl. There was oh my gosh, my teacher Valpal. She was my first inspo. I think having her as like a mentor was very important because it was over time where I learned that it's not as common to have B girls to guide you, as a healthy role model, and even as protection, like from the world and the scene. But Valpal, um, we connected breaking. He taught me a lot when it came to power, like in the beginning with basic freezes and power, even flow, like sweeps, because my crew does a lot of sweeps and threads. But most of all, she just connected to me as a human, because at the time I was going through a lot. And so after that, though, I'm trying to think who else. Beta Rock is a huge inspiration of mine. She would hang with the guys breaking wise, and it was like there's no there was no like label anymore. Being her. I wasn't there in that time, obviously, but it's like she's just hanging with them, you know. And like it didn't matter if they were guys or girls. I know she has promoted the message of and she told me in person too, like it wasn't just about battling girls at the time for her. Um, and she was saying she liked crew battles more. This is I talked to her, this was like maybe a few years ago. She liked crew battles more for that reason, but um, yeah, I'm trying to think of other beat girls. Ayumi and Arumi inspired me a lot as I was like growing up learning breaking, because they were really I think they were some of the first that I've seen to kill it like at such a high level, um, from what I've seen. Um, and then more recently, I do want to shout out my girl Yasmin and memes from Japan, because I love what they represent within the dance as B-girls, as breakers. I think sometimes it's hard for young people to shout out people that they're inspired by, because of just some, pride. But I'm inspired by so many people around me. I'm inspired by my generation, Sissy, India, Nika, yo, like these girls inspire me like forever and ever. So yeah, I want to learn more about B-girls from the past, because I just I don't know. I wasn't where I learned a lot about the B-boys from the past, but I want to learn more about the B-girls from the past, and that information hasn't always been there. But I'm digging. I always ask, like, what were the B-girls? Who were the B-girls in that time? And it's a little sad because it's like people don't. It'll be B-girls that they said have made an impact, but like I've never heard of them. Like, why haven't I heard of them? So I'm still unraveling that though. So, yeah.
True that. I've seen this puzzle in many countries I've went to when I travel and train some of the people and ask about, all right, have you seen beta before? And not too many people have seen beta or know about beta or speak about Aisha One or just Gills or Taya from my crew or people of such level. And I notice like they are not getting a lot of recognition, the stuff that they deserve for their contributions. So let's keep spreading the word and of course digging more ourselves so we can learn more. Uh, we met up in Los Angeles last November for freestyle session. Rocked a small cipher over there as well. And I remember you saying after that, like, okay, there wasn't too many other ciphers in the event. So, which was a pity, of course, one of the leading events in the world, especially in the States. And seems like if you still want to go and enjoy ciphers, represent outside of the competition too, it's nearly impossible when it comes to big events. How do you feel about that? You're traveling a lot for different events too. Do you see ciphers? Do you miss ciphers in the events, or how do you feel about that in general?
Yeah, of course. I think that was one of the things that I didn't even realize was affecting me over time. Because I grew up, actually, my very first breaking teacher was Dino Rock. And at the time, the crew was called Cypher City Kings. Now it's called Cypher State. But I don't know if they changed it, so I don't want to misinform. I don't know if they changed the name or if it's a new crew. But at the time, Cypher City Kings, I was taught by a lot of them. And I remember the gem No Holding Back, and I was all Cypher and Cypher Addicts. I grew up going to Cypher Addicts, just little girl, no one knew me. But it was just fun. It was just like it didn't matter. It was about the energy. It was about being free. I didn't have to plan out like or be strategic with like what I was sharing, what I was doing, what I was showing. It was just about the room, and it was like I could escape for the hours in that jam. I could just be free and just be in the music and be with the energy and the ciphering with the people, with the dancers. So I miss that a lot because I think from what I'm exposed to, it doesn't happen enough because it's not something that is encouraged when it comes to how we are incentivized in the scene. And, it's by winning, at least now. I've definitely experienced shift, and I think it's still going. But it was sad because y'all were the only ones that were cultivating a cipher, and I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate that. But yeah, I feel like people almost don't know how to, like, also people don't know how to vibe, they don't know how to. I was just watching a video, I think it was Buddha Stretch, but he was saying like the problem is people don't know how to party. And I'm like, it's true. Because it's just a vibe, like, it's not really like, we're not comparing each other, and that's why when I want ciphers, I'll go with the open style scene, like, me, like, and my friends here, like, Breaking MIA will go to all style scene, and there's more energy, there's more people, and they just cipher, they vibe, and that's another reason why I love other styles too, is because, if someone don't wanna have a conversation with me, that's not like an argument or like a I say argument as in, like, battle conversation. If people aren't just trying to have a cordial cipher convo with me and breaking, because not blaming them, but just whatever zone they're in, or there's not this is not a big community here in Miami. It's a very small breaking community, but there's a big all styles community, freestyle community. So I'll just go vibe with them, and then come back to breaking it and informs me about my breaking, and I'm like, okay, I can apply that here. Or simply just like, damn, I need to have fun in my breaking because people aren't having fun. um, but yeah, I definitely miss ciphers. I definitely miss ciphers.
Yeah. Shout out to Dino Rock. He came to Helsinki for half a year at one point, and we trained super hard with him. Took him to the park next to our studio to throw some kettlebells in the snow and such. So went pretty hardcore, and
Wow.
was lucky to come back to San Diego as well for his cruise anniversary and experience that San Diego vibe. And the vibe that you were talking about was present over there. So shout out to Rock So Fresh, Cypher City Kings, and
So
everybody
fresh.
else out there as well. Yeah, so
Yes.
much soul and finesse. I still go back to those times in my memories when I look for like inspiration and
Mm,
some flavor into the way that I rock.
mm.
Sweet. Big year for you as well. OQS coming up, couple of big battles, and then naturally, if everything goes well, then Paris later on. How do you feel about this year and preparing for the big battles coming up?
Feel good. It took a while for me to feel good, like feel like this, because it's a lot of pressure. But no, I feel good because I feel good with myself. There was there's a lot of great opportunities in this time, especially for the people um, I've been blessed to, experience this Olympic year where breaking's in it. But I had to go through some things with the Olympics itself, like that experience, that organization, um, and it was a lot. It was a lot because I don't think any of us are really used to how it works. We've battled, and it's always been like, show up, sign up, put your crew name. They'll call your name when you're ready. Sometimes a number, but it's this whole system, and putting all your information and representing your country. Um, and so I feel good. I feel um, yeah. I don't know what other words to explain, but I haven't felt as good my breaking in a while, because I think I got lost in like what I was talking about earlier with like the competition and the pressure, and then getting sponsored, and I'm like, you know what, I got all this. I want to stay true to myself and my breaking, because all these things are going to leave, but at the end of the day I have myself. At the end of the day I have my dance, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want that to be used or manipulated or whatever. I want to make sure that stays pure. And to do that in this world, in general, can be difficult. But no, I feel good. I feel really good.
Yeah, that's a strong position to be at. Like based on my experience, the positive state, the positive emotions, they are so much stronger than the negative, the anger and the frustration and the grind. That will be an easy source of energy. But if you dance out of love,
Mm,
and if you go back to your why, like why not says here in the comments, always go back to your why. If that one is strong, then you're gonna shine at the stage. So that's big. Good. We got a last section for the show, which is either or, quick either or questions, and let's see which one you have. Coming back to the previous one, either or, stadium battles outside on concrete. Which one?
Outside.
Stadium battles or outside on concrete? Outside on concrete, straight up. Bucket
And
hat
this,
or
yeah.
beanie? Bucket hat or beanie?
Beanie.
Cat or dog?
Cat.
Good morning routine versus a good night pre-bed routine.
Can I say both?
Nope. It's either or.
Okay. Rising.
Morning. 90s rap or breaks?
Oh, I'm in different moods.
Both. All right.
I don't
Let's
know.
pass on that one. Both is fine. That's all for today. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate you, and good luck for a big year coming up. And stay inspired. Cool. This was a good talk. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you, Focus.
And we'll stay in touch. Have a great day. Peace, peace.
Have a good night.
Sweet. Thank you. And everybody else, thanks for tuning in. Head out to bboydojo.com for one of my free footwork workshops. You get it out there at the courses. Thanks for tuning into the Knowledge Drop. More stuff coming up. Peace, peace.